Welcome back to the OpenAI API Masterclass. If you're just joining us, in this series we're working towards building out a full stack document chat application similar to ChatGPT but specialized for your own documents. It's going to include user authentication, file upload, and it's going to have a conversation dashboard. In part 1 we covered the platform basics, and now in part 2 we're going to be making our very first API call. So we're going to keep things super beginner friendly. We're going to start off by generating our API key. Then we're going to head across to Cursor AI to actually use AI to help us write the API call. And we'll be making the API call in 2 different ways. The first way is using standard JavaScript API call, which is the Axios library. And then we'll be making the API call using the OpenAI library. It's going to be slightly more efficient and easier to work with. And I want to show you the differences between the standard JavaScript API call and then the OpenAI API call. And then finally, we're going to be looking at how to process the response. Now, this foundation is crucial for what's coming next, because in part 3, we're going to be making API calls exploring the various models and endpoints, including text, audio, and vision. All right, let's write some code. All right, so we're going to start off by going to platform.openai.com. And like I mentioned in video 1, this is where all the documentation is for how to use the OpenAI API. Now we have some quick start information here, but what I'm going to do is actually go across to the API reference. And now on this page, which is the introduction section, so I've just zoomed in a little bit to make it easier to read. And the first thing we're recommended to do is to install the OpenAI library in our coding tool. So the pip install is for coding in Python, and then the npm install is for coding in JavaScript using Node.js. And we'll be using this later on because I code in JavaScript, and for this tutorial, we'll be building out in JavaScript. Scrolling down a little bit more, we have some information about how to set and configure our API key. And over here, we have information about how to set our authorization header for our API call. So we have to use bearer, space, and then OpenAI API key. And this is the API key we'll generate in just a second. Then scrolling down a little bit more, we start getting into actually making API calls. So we got a curl example here, which is just using a standard API call. And then over here, we've got the Python version and Node version of using the OpenAI library. I'm going to keep scrolling down. All right, and finally, we're at the making requests section. So this is where we can actually start taking this API call and going across to Cursor and building out an API call to generate a response from OpenAI. In this example, we're actually using the chat completions endpoint, which is this endpoint over here. So I've just gone across to endpoint section, clicked on chat, and I've just zoomed in a little bit, but you can see we're making a post request to this endpoint. Now, since this tutorial is all about being beginner friendly and actually making our very first API call, I'm not going to dive into the complexities of using this endpoint with text, vision, or audio. We're going to explore all of that in our part 3. So this is a sample API call, and it's actually using the OpenAI library. So what I want to do is actually flick over to here, and I can toggle to use the OpenAI library in Node, in Python, or I can just get a standard curl request. So the way to think about curl is just like the bare bones API call, doesn't use any OpenAI library. It's just a standard form of an API call. So I'm going to click on curl, and over here we have the API call built out in a very stripped back and standard format. And that's what we have over here in our original document that we started reading. We have our curl API call, and it's going to the chat completions endpoint. And our body is a little bit different because over here, we're just sending a user message that says, "Hi, this is a test." Whereas over here, it's the exact same API call, except we're setting the system instructions for our assistant saying, "You're a helpful assistant." And then we're sending our user message, which is just hello. So for the purpose of this video, let's just actually start off by taking this API call, going across to Cursor AI, and then building out our very first API call. So I'm gonna hit copy. All right, so I've got Cursor AI open. Now, the first thing I wanna do is actually go across to these settings. So I'm gonna click on this gear icon here. And under the general tab, we've got some rules for AI. So these rules for AI are actually the system instructions for the AI chat assistant over in this panel over here. And I've configured them in such a way that they're very beginner friendly. So they're going to include additional instructions outside of the actual code that they generate for you for steps that you need to take in order to run that code. So for example, sometimes you might need to install some additional libraries in order to run the code that it writes for you. And those instructions will be listed out at the bottom of the generated code. So we'll see exactly how useful this is in a second, but I'm going to be copying this now. And I'm going to go across to here and hover over add a file. And I'm going to add that as prompt.txt, and I'll paste it into here so that you guys can also use the exact same prompt or modify it slightly for your use case, and then paste it into the cursor settings, into the rules for AI. All right, cool. So let's now close cursor settings and close prompt.txt. and I'm gonna bring out this panel to make it a little bit easier to read. So just to remind us, I'm gonna be copying this curl request again. And now I'm gonna be prompting the AI assistant to take that curl request and then turn it into an API call. All right, so I've prompted over here, please take the below curl request and turn it into an API call using Axios. And once again, Axios is the mechanism for making the API call. It's like the engine behind it. There's a couple of different mechanisms in JavaScript for making API calls. You have Axios, you have fetch. For the purpose of this video, I'm just using the Axios library. Then I've pasted in the curl request, the same one that we just copied from here. And then I said I'm going to be saving this file as axios.js. And now over here, I'm about to paste in a sample response from this API call. Now, the reason I do this is whenever I'm prompting AI to help me write code, I always like to give both ends of the picture. So that's why I like to give the actual API call example and then a sample response, so it knows exactly what it's looking for. And to get that sample response, if we just scroll down a little bit, we can see over here that we have a sample response from this API call over here. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing as before. I'm just gonna be copying this, and over in cursor, I'm just gonna paste it in here, and now I'm gonna hit run. All right, awesome. So over here, we actually have our generated code, but in addition to that, we've got a couple of other steps. So the first is that we have to install the Axios library, and once again, that's the mechanism for making the API call, which we'll do in a second. And then I've also got instructions to install the .env package, which is the library that's gonna let me run this environment variable setup here. All right, so let's go to the top. And the first thing I'm gonna do is copy and paste this command into the terminal, which is here. And then I'm gonna hit run. So let's paste it in and hit run. And now this is gonna be installing all the Axios dependencies that we need to run the code. Next, I'm gonna take this code, I'm gonna copy it. Then I'm gonna go across to here and hover, add new file. And I'm gonna call this axios.js, just like I said I would. And I'm gonna paste the code into here. And by the way, the AI also knows that this code is called axios.js. So if it ever helps us actually run this code by running a command in the terminal, it's gonna be using the correct name based on what we have over here as well. So now scrolling down a little bit more, we can see we have to create a .env file, and that's listed over here. So I'm gonna go back to here and I'm gonna hover over new file. I'm gonna call this .env, click enter. And now I'm gonna be copying this. So click copy and paste it in. So over here, we have the secret storage of our OpenAI key variable. And we just need to take this placeholder and paste our API key into here. So let's get that right now. So over in platform.openai.com, I've actually already signed in. So I can see these extra tabs over here called playground and dashboard. To get our API key, let's click into the dashboard. Next, I'm gonna click into the API key tab. And from here, I'm gonna click on create new secret key. Now let's name our key. So I've called it my new key. And now I'm gonna leave all these default settings and just click create secret key. Awesome, let's copy that, let's hit done. And back in cursor, let's replace this placeholder with that secret key we just copied. Wicked, and now we have our variable and the secret key set. We have to install the .env package. So let's copy this, paste it into our terminal and hit enter. Awesome. And now let's go back to axios.js and have a quick look at this file. So over here, we're calling out the Axios library. That's gonna be the mechanism for making the API call. We're also calling out the .env package so that we can actually access the secret information in the .env file. We're creating the API call over here. So it's going to be a post method to this endpoint URL. We got content type application JSON, authorization bearer, and then our API key, which is the same thing over here. So we've got our endpoint URL, content type application JSON, authorization with bearer, and our API key. And this H stands for headers. Now back in cursor, we've got the data of the API call, which is the body. So we've got model, GPT-4o mini, and then we have the messages, which is the user message that says, say this is a test, and then our temperature. Once again, the exact same thing that we had over here, model, message, and temperature. And then over here, we have the actual processing of the response. So we're gonna be making the API call, getting the response, and then logging the response over here in our terminal. All right, so to run this API call, I'm just gonna write node space, and then write the file name, which is axios.js. I'm gonna write it in the terminal here. So let's go node axios.js. And all we need to do to run this is just hit enter. Awesome, so we have our response generated. So we've logged pretty much all the response from the API call over here. If I scroll down a little bit more, we have the actual AI response over here, which is denoted by AI response. And this is a test, how can I assist you further? And that's what we had over here, AI response. And then we had the actual message. Now, some interesting things to look at is inside the actual API call response, we have all of the tokens that were consumed in creating this response. So the prompt tokens, completion tokens, and then total tokens. So if you ever make an API call and you want to see how much it costs, you can just look at the token consumption here and then charge it out based on which model you use. So if you go across to openai.com/API/pricing, you can actually see exactly how much the model costs. So for example, we're using the 4.0 mini, and then we have pricing for input tokens, cache tokens, and then output tokens. So you just need to do some math and basically calculate what this costs you. In any case, I'm now going to reprompt and say, hey, can you just make this response more concise and only list the AI response? So I'm going to copy everything from the terminal and reprompt. So I've written over here, can you please only output the AI response? And then I've pasted in whatever I had in my terminal over here. All right, let's hit enter. All right, so now we have our updated code over here. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it into our Axios.js file, go back to my terminal and rerun that. So I'm going to go node Axios.js and hit run. Awesome, we just have the response from the API call. This is a test. How can I assist you today? All right, so if you've been following along with how we're making this code and you've been doing this for yourself, well, congratulations, you just made your very first OpenAI API call. And now it's on for part 2. So the first part of the video was all about using the Axios library to make the API call. And now for the second part of the video, I actually want to install the official Node.js library for OpenAI and then make the API call using the OpenAI library. So I'm just going to copy this and back in cursor, I'm going to paste it into my terminal so I can install the OpenAI library. So I'm going to paste it into here, Control V and hit run. All right, wicked. So now I have the OpenAI library installed and ready to use. If I scroll down a little bit, so in this making request section is where we had the curl request to make the API call that we just made. Now I can go to my AI assistant and just say, hey, can you now write the exact same call, but using the OpenAI library, which it will actually be able to do. But I want to show you how you can actually find that code in case you wanted to copy and paste it, just like we did with that first code. So if I scroll up a little bit, you can see that we're using the chat completions endpoint. And to find that same endpoint, just go to this endpoints tab over here and click on chat. And now we have the documentation for the chat completions endpoint. And over here, we have the API call if we were to use the OpenAI library. So if you're running in Python, you would just click here and you can select Python and you have the Python library version. But since we're using Node.js, I'm just going to copy this, go back to cursor, and now I'm going to reprompt over here. All right, so over here, I am saying, can you now make the exact same API call, but this time using the OpenAI library? Here is a sample code, which we got from here, and I've pasted that into here. And if I scroll down a little bit more, then I have with this sample response, and I've just scrolled down a little bit over here, and I've copied this sample response, and that's what I fed into here. And then finally at the very bottom, I said, I'm going to call this file openai.js. Now let's hit enter. Okay, awesome. So the first thing we need to do is install the OpenAI library, which we've already done based on the instructions from OpenAI themselves. And here we have the code for openai.js. So I'm going to copy this code, create a new file. I'm going to call this openai.js and paste the code into here. Then I'm going to scroll down a little bit. And then we have some instructions over here to create a package.json file. And we have to set this variable of type to module. Now let's just see why we need the package.json file for the OpenAI library. And I've said over here, why do we need the package.json file? Can't we just use the OpenAI library without needing the extra file? So the explanation here is that we were using slightly different import statements in our code. And that meant that we needed to use an additional package.json file. But now the AI has rewritten using a more basic style of JavaScript, and we don't need to use the package.json file, which I'm going to go with this one for now. I prefer not to make any more files. I'm just going to copy this and replace it with our original version, which is cool because it just wiped off a few lines of code. So we had 31 before, and now we have 28. And to go over this, we're basically importing the OpenAI library and the .env library. We're taking our API key from the .env file, and then we're creating our API call. So you can see over here, we don't need to use the actual URL. We're directly calling the chat completions endpoint. But just like before, we're setting the user role to say, hey, this is a test. We're setting our model and temperature, and then we're accessing the response directly as well. All right, so let's actually run this. Now to run this, once again, we have to take the file name, which is openai.js. And over here, we're gonna write node space openai.js and hit run. Wonderful. And now we've just logged the response only. So this is a test. How can I assist you today? And there you go. So if you've been also following along with this section, writing the code yourself, you've now executed an OpenAI API call using the OpenAI library. So at a high level, both of those were very easy to make because essentially we just used AI to write both variations of the code. But realistically, the OpenAI library is going to make the API call more simplified and more efficient just because we're using more of a native integration. Now looking at the Axios.js, you can see that we have roughly 35 lines of code. Maybe we could be a little bit more efficient in some of this code over here, but let's just say 35 is what we have. And then using the OpenAI library, we have 28 lines of code. Once again, maybe we could be a little bit more efficient in some places, but we have roughly 35 to 28 lines of code. So that means that the OpenAI library has actually shaved off 7 lines of code, or comparatively, it's actually saved us 20% of total code. And just to learn some more, let's actually ask the AI assistant what the key differences are between both versions of code. So one using the Axios library and one using the OpenAI library. Okay, so I've just prompted over here, what is the key difference between using the Axios version, and then I've pasted in the Axios version of the code here, then the OpenAI version, which I've pasted over here. And when would I use either version over the other? Let's hit enter. All right, and here's our response. So at a high level, the Axios version requires just a little bit more code and some more manual configuration, whereas the OpenAI library is more concise and cleaner. So it's a little bit more efficient because we're running a little bit less code, and it's faster to get up and running. And it also automatically handles rate limits and retries. And it seems like you'd be using the OpenAI library when you want the simplest, fastest, and most efficient execution of the code. And then you'd be using the Axios library when you want some more nuanced control. So maybe if you're building out something a little bit more complex and it's got many different parts to it, this is probably when you'd be looking at using the Axios library. In either case, we actually see that both of these codes work. So using the Axios library or the OpenAI library, we're able to get the same response. We're able to target the chat completions endpoint, send a message, and then get a response. Now, if you enjoyed this tutorial where we're looking at the chat completions endpoint and specifically only working with text generation, and in the next part of this series, we're going to be exploring more of these endpoints over here. So we'll be looking at image generation, text to speech, speech to text, and then exploring more of this chat completions endpoint as well. And there you have it. You've just made your very first OpenAI API call. This is a great foundation for the next part in the series, where we explore more endpoints and more models, including the text, audio, and vision. Now, if you haven't seen part 1, where we covered the platform basics, I recommend you head over and check that out. And if you haven't already subscribed, consider subscribing so you can stay up to date with all the videos in this series. All right, and see you in part 3, where things start to get really interesting.